Hey everybody! So this part I'm going to fast forward through really fast because it is long, tedious, and the last thing I want to do is bore anybody. These black and white lines ended up being pointless because I did not manage to keep them on the painting, and the black overtook the white because the white must have been way more dense. Okay, and I want to make sure I add enough paint on the canvas to have plenty to tilt off. Better to have more than not enough. Okay, and I'm going to swipe with that spatula. I think it's the right size. So I'm just doing a little imitation swipe just to get a feel of how wide I want the layers of paint to be. And all my colors will be in the description, but the first one I'm placing is an iridescent because I want that to swipe over all the other colors so that it shows up more. This is my color shifting purple, and it color shifts from blue to purple. Really cool. This red I actually mix myself. It's fluorescent red, and I mix it with two paints, which I will also have in the description. And here is my violet. And I'm going to go ahead and do additional layers. Now when I swipe, if I want good, solid, vibrant colors and lacing, I want to make sure the colors go over the whole area that I spread. So I'm just going to do another 2 to 3 layers to get that effect that I want. I think this is probably one of my most favorite color palettes. I absolutely love it, especially with that iridescent, and it really pops once the painting dries. Here is my cell activator that I'm using, and I'm actually going to use 3 different color cell activators, okay, which I will also have in the description. Okay, and right here, this is I'm going to put white in the middle. The white is the most dense of the cell activators that I'm using. Okay, and this is my electric yellow that I'm using. And I don't know the density of this paint, but I've used it in previous painting and it always disappears, so it must be pretty dense, and it turns out that it works really well as a cell activator. And I'm going to add a little bit of black on my spatula. All right, now this is one of the fun parts. Okay, and I'm going to swipe nice and slow, going across all the colors. And I layered them because I did want them to blend a little bit. So I layered them horizontally so that they do blend. Now if I didn't want them to blend, I would layer them vertically. And bam, look at that cell action. Amazing. I must have turned my canvas I don't know how many times throughout this painting, but I'm right-handed, so I do like to swipe from right to left or from top to bottom. Okay. Now, at this part, my goal was to try to keep some of those black and white lines throughout the painting. So I did another layer going up and down, as you see, in the same order. And this time I'm going to use just the yellow because I liked what it did with the first swipe. And I do want those colors to blend nicely. I'm going nice and slow. Okay, and I would never worry too much about what's at the very end of that swipe because that's all going to be tilted off. Okay, now I'm using a smaller swipe tool, palette knife, whatever you want to call it. And I want to get the sides, because I did not really like those little blobs of color just laying there, so they were out of place. And so I'm just going to swipe along the edges, as you see. Really loving how these colors are blending together. Really, really cool. And I love the yellow cell activator. And I'm going to use even more yellow since I love it so much. And it gives a really nice contrast to all the other colors. How's everybody doing today? You all doing good? Let me know. This part was a little bit more challenging because it's kind of there along a curb. So I'm just going to go slow, take my time. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and turn my canvas again so that I could swipe accordingly so it's more comfortable for me, so I don't screw anything up. Alright, and this time I felt like adding a little bit of the white cell activator. And I'm going to swipe from right to left. If you're left-handed, probably better to swipe from left to right. And with this technique, I always love to take my time. There's no rush. I always find the paintings turn out better, at least mine do, I think, when I take my time. And a little bit of black. I love the contrast with the black. The black is probably the least dense of those cell activators. And that's why it takes a little longer for those the cells and the lacing to appear. Yep, and you know, when you need to, take a moment, pause, look at the canvas and just think. The heat gun helps to pop the bubbles, helps the lacing and cells appear more. And now for the fun part, we get to tilt. This is where all your planning and prepping, this is where it all pays off. I like to tilt really slowly. I like to go corner to corner. I find that when you finally start tilting the painting, it's almost like multitasking. Because you're tilting, you're trying to look at the whole design that you have on the canvas, parts that you want to tilt off, other parts that you want to keep. So I try to be as focused as possible when doing this part. Like that part right there that's about to tilt off, I'm looking at that because I do not want to lose all that. It's probably my favorite part of the painting so far. From here on out, I have this fast forwarded about 5 times. So the tilting alone took me about 10 minutes just to tilt everything off. But man, I am loving how the lacing turned out, and I love how much it spread and how big they got. This part for me is usually, the tilting is the most challenging. It can be challenging to keep certain parts and not lose others. And as you could see, yeah, I'm losing all the black and white lines, which would have been a really cool point of interest, but the paintings, most of the time, they don't turn out how you plan, at least for me. This art is so unpredictable, but that is what I love about it. If you always knew what to exactly expect, it wouldn't be as exciting. Right now I'm trying to get that white line to go all the way down, without messing anything else up. And right now I am approaching a stopping point, because if I tilt anymore, it might really mess up the design. I did manage to keep some of those black and white lines. And here is the finished dried result, and I love it. I love the intricate lines, the solid webbing. That yellow cell activator that I used is really good. Probably should have used it throughout the whole painting. There's some of the black and white that I managed to keep. Be proud of me because I managed to make it throughout this whole video without using any curse words. Anyways, thank you for watching. Any comments, feedback? Please post it in the comments section. Till next time, bye!